I was prepared. I came in extremely hard-headed. I made a joke to my father-in-law that he would never hear me complain about the cold or the snow or anything. And God tested me, I can tell you that much. Golly, 60 feet of snow in my first winter. Are you kidding me? Golly.
This is the Buffalo Community Podcast, all about the greatest small town in the USA, the people in it, and how it all works together. Here are your hosts, Tyler Reese and Mark Benzer.
We're back in studio today after a little month hiatus. It's always a fun Friday for us. We have with us our friend Matt Beasley from Shelter Construction. You'll have to forgive his little Texas drawl that he's got. It's not bad. It's not too bad.
Right, just talk a little bit slower, that's all.
A little bit slower. Yeah. But Matt, Shelter Construction, why don't you introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about what you do, what Shelter Construction does, and we'll go from there.
But before we do, we need to hear from Steve real quick.
Hi, I'm Steven Racek, one of the owners and coaches here at Forge Fitness. A lot of people ask, what do we do here? Well, we focus on your longevity, meaning we focus on your health and the quality of your life as you age. So by the time you get to the end of your life, we want you to be able to do things that you want to do and enjoy. We take a lot of pride in the community that we've built, knowing that our members come for a great workout, but they stick around because of the community and friendships that they have. If interested in joining us at Forge, we offer a 7-day free trial. And you can find us at www.forgefitness.co, or you can find us on Facebook or Instagram.
Thanks, Steve. All right, Matt, back at you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Steve. So I'm Matt Beasley. I work for Shelter Construction, which is a local general contractor. It's based out of Brooklyn Park, but my kind of territory is out here towards Buffalo. I stick close to home. I live here just north of the high school, and what we do is we really focus on exterior restoration. No projects too small, no projects too big. I mean, we've done full commercial new builds. We've also done small little, sheetrock patches in the ceiling from a leak. It really doesn't matter. Obviously, the project's got to be right, but we focus on exterior storm restoration mostly.
Awesome. And I would imagine Minnesota keeps you guys pretty busy with our active hail seasons and extreme weather of cold and hot.
Right, yeah. So. Well, I came from Texas, so coming from Texas, it's, you get extreme heat and you get crazy hail. But here, it was just so different, such a big learning curve having to deal with ice dams and having to deal with the dry, cold freeze and then the wet in the spring and everything coming through. It presents new problems in roofing systems, especially once that snow melts off. And my first winter here was, I moved into Buffalo in 2022 December. So I got smacked in the face with 60 feet of snow my first winter. So it was just like crazy. So I was getting called out on a bunch of projects that, the solution wasn't as obvious as I was used to having, which was awesome. It expanded my knowledge and helped me grow a lot.
Yeah. Sure. Well, that first time you're like, I have no idea what that is. Right. It looks like a lot of ice, but I mean, how did you come to Buffalo? I mean, how did you make the trip from Texas? It's just
So my wife, my dearest Ellen Marie, she works for Molson Coors Beverage Company, and she was in a brewery down in Fort Worth before, and we had our first kid. She was working 80 hours a week. It just wasn't working, so she transitioned into a sales role. Got a promotion. We moved up here. Now she works with all the local distribution centers like Dahlheimer, Northern Viking. She's basically the Molson Coors Beverage Company, Miller and Coors Light, all those beers, 60 different brands. She is the rep for those distribution companies. So she makes sure that everything is taken care of. And Dahlheimer's headquartered here in Monticello.
Yeah.
So
no offense, but could we get her? Is she here? Could we just
get her? That actually sounds cooler.
I can tell you what, if you get her on the podcast, she comes with a little bit of goodies attached, right?
Yeah, so, sure. Right. Yeah, we like those guests.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
I mean, no offense. I think you're great.
Yeah. But I'll tell you this much, beverage sales is probably far more interesting than roofing. Yeah. So I'll be the first to admit it,
Right.
But yeah, that's why we moved up here. She got a promotion and here we are.
Yep. Awesome. in my line of, me being in the insurance business and obviously dealing with a lot of customers and, hey, somebody knocked on my door. They told me I have hail. Like, I guess what I have kind of my answer and solution to that, but I guess what are some of those challenges for you guys? How do you approach acquiring business and making recommendations? I guess if you were to give homeowner some advice on how to maintain and handle potential roof damage.
Right. So, if everybody thinks of roofers and they think of the guys that come out and they knock on 100 doors, they get 100 knocks on their door in a week after a storm hits, right? There is an element to that, absolutely. I mean, if you have sales guys out there that need to make some money and need to get work, I mean, that's the easiest and most effective way to do it. You're going to hear 150 no's before you hear a yes, but you're going to get a job if you stick to it. When I started in Texas, I started in this field, I hated to knock on doors because I don't like it when people knock on my door, just upfront and honest about it. So I needed to figure out a different way, a referral-based selling program. In my career before this, I was in a B&I group. And I was like, networking, build relationships. Let's just see how that works out. So what I started to do is I started to go and introduce myself to local insurance agents. And I was able to build some relationships that not only helped those insurance agents out with client retention, providing a positive claims experience with those homeowners, but also they were able to help me out and, generally build my entire book of business based off of that. I didn't really have to knock doors. So what we do at Shelter Construction, there's we absolutely have a couple guys that are 1099 and, we call them rodeo clowns, and they just go out and they get after it. So, they're great. I mean, and they're great. We do it in a respectful way. We don't file faulty claims. I mean, we'll knock on your door, we'll inspect it. If it's fine, we're not going to tell you need a new roof, right? But what we like to do is, most of our guys are W-2 employees, and so people like that as well because when someone's knocking on your door, when as an agent or a realtor, whenever someone comes in, he's not just going to try to get business off of you, right? I mean, I'm going to give you, my goal when I work with realtors is to give their client or their home that they're selling a clean bill of health. My goal when I work with insurance agents is, a lot of the times they send me out, they're like, hey, just make sure this is damaged before my homeowner files a claim. If it's not, fine. I like telling people their home's fine just as much as I like telling people they got storm damage. Mm-hmm. Storm damage is not a fun business to be in because when you think of hail, you don't think of natural disasters, but it's really what you're dealing. I mean, this is their biggest investment, and you're telling them that there's something seriously wrong with it, right? Mm-hmm. And they're going to have to spend, most of the time in insurance cases, it's a deductible, whatever that is. But it's a $20,000 to $40,000 project that they're going to have to do on their biggest investment, right? And so it's not as fun as it looks. I mean, it probably doesn't look fun to a lot of people anyway, but. That's the kind of way that we go get business. We're all about relationship building, referral based selling, and we want to make you sticky, so that when somebody else has a problem, you talk well about us.
Yeah, I think I'm going to steal that phrase. We want to make you sticky.
Yeah,
I like that because you talked about the referrals and B&I, and you guys are both in the Go Givers,
right?
And is that the connection that you guys made first here? Is that you're involved in those?
Yeah, yep. I think we met first, and then we saw each other a couple of times. At the Good Morning Buffalo for the chamber.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. And you're a very smooth talker. Like I think I want my roof inspected. Right. We just got a new roof, but you're good.
Well,
do you want to get your real estate license?
Right.
You're good.
No, I think that's a little bit too much paperwork for me, sir. Yeah. I'm just a simple guy that, and I like, I just like it. I sold phones before I got into this, and I did not enjoy it. I was stuck behind the desk. I hated it. I sold a phone system to the roofing company that I ended up being a partner in. They cherry picked me, and the rest was history.
Yeah. So. And now here you are.
Now here I am.
Awesome. So we talk a lot about roofing systems, but what else? What else if somebody's looking for remodel additions, anything of that nature? Does it go beyond the scope of roofing?
Oh yeah. We're a full service general contractor. We are capable of doing it all. I will say that we are extremely picky. As a, this is going to sound kind of, uppity. But as a luxury company, we like to provide a luxury experience. The easiest way for us to do that is through the claims process, right? I mean, because we are providing to them a high quality claims experience in which they can just sit back and relax and know that they're going to get taken care of. I mean, there's constant communication, constant follow-up, they know exactly what's going on. When it comes to remodeling and the design process and getting the right pricing and the timing on the job and all the things that go into that, the project's got to be right. We have all the tools to make that successful, but we're not going to be the company that's going to come in and give you a $20,000 remodel on your kitchen. Mm-hmm. With us, it's going to cost $40,000 to $45,000, but it's because we are not going to just tear cabinets out and put cabinets in. We like to diagnose problems and fix problems, so it's better in the long run. We don't put lipstick on a pig. So the project's got to be right. I mean, and we've turned down some pretty lucrative projects that just didn't really fit what we like to do at Shelter Construction.
Sure.
That's not to say that we can't do things affordably. Just, we got to do the right by the client. I tell people all the time, I wouldn't be doing my job properly if I wasn't completely honest with you about the root of this problem. Because sometimes people will come out and I've got a customer out in Egan actually right now. I travel all the way out there, and he's got a leak in his ceiling. We put the roof on 2017. There's nothing wrong with the roofing system. We got an adjuster out there. Everything's perfectly fine. We replaced everything the way it was supposed to. But he's got ventilation issue on his house, and he's got a hot roof, as they call it. And this is going back to roofing, but he wanted us just to fix the leak and get out of there, and that's just not what we're going to do. We'd have to replace the roof again, add a bunch of ventilation, replace the decking because there's some black spots on the decking and around the nails. And the reason you can tell it's a ventilation issue is when that warm air comes up out of the bathroom, call it, to the attic, those nails that come through the decking, they're the first cold surface it touches, and it freezes. And so when it melts, it drips, and that decking and those nails turn black. So you can see it on the underside. And you can see it, there's obviously issues in there that's super bad, but if you look where the decking looks great on the other side of the attic, those nails are all still black. So that's the key. But instead of us, ripping off the skylight and fixing the flashing and, lipstick on a pig type of thing, which wouldn't fix the issue anyway.
Right.
It's like, hey, in order to do this right, we got to do this right. So that's back to remodeling. I mean, it's got to be the right deal.
Yep.
If that makes all sense. That kind of went off on a tangent a little bit.
Yeah, no, but I think a good the right client who wants it done
the right way.
Correct. And if it's looking to Band-Aid something, might not be the best fit.
Right, absolutely.
Yep. Perfect.
Like if we wanted to talk about a remodel or a deck, for instance, the perfect client is someone who just bought a home, and it's their forever home, right? Because they're not, if you just buy a home, unless you're flipping it, you're not going to want lipstick on a pig, right? You want it to be done correctly and last longer and add home value in case you do have to leave or decide to leave in the future.
Got it.
Let's shift off a little bit from the construction and tell us a little bit more about your home life. You said your wife is down visiting your family in Texas where it's 85 degrees with your kid.
That's right.
Who's Matt outside of Shelter?
Yeah, so Matt Beasley is just a semi-country boy from Burleson, Texas, which is just about 20 miles south of Fort Worth. Grew up playing ball. I'm married to my lovely wife, Ellen. Like I said, I got a 2-year-old son named Trayson, and we have our second child on the way due in October.
Congrats.
So that's exciting. Officially going, so the tests say officially going to be a girl dad. I guess you rather really know for sure, but
you'll find out.
Yeah, it'll be exciting. So we're jacked up about that. I'm an avid hunter, fisher. I say avid fisher. I'm not much of an avid fisher. I'm not patient enough for that, as you can tell. I'm all over the place. But I'm a big-time hunter, big-time waterfowl hunter. I actually owned my own guide service in Texas for a couple years before we moved up here. So we did 25 waterfowl hunts a year, killed about in between 300, 500 ducks and geese a year. So I enjoy doing that. Big-time golfer. So this snow in April is messing me up a little bit, but yeah, I just I like hanging out with friends. I like hanging out with my family, and I like being outdoors.
Yeah.
And I'm a world champion, so.
Tell us more about that.
Yeah, the Texas Rangers won the World Series in 2023, so I'm a world champion.
And that's it for the Buffalo community.
Right.
We were in 91 and 87.
Yeah, that's right.
I can tell you this much. Whenever the Texas Rangers won the World Series in 2023, it took all of the pressure off of the Dallas Cowboys for that year.
Yeah.
I mean, it just did.
Yeah.
Because people talk about, oh, you haven't been relevant since 96. I was like, I don't care. I'm a baseball fan anyway.
Yeah, right.
I like that.
Yeah.
Anytime you can throw the Cowboys under the bus is a good thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
All right. They're wearing thin on me, but I still stand up and beat my chest at the TV when they're on. So
Yeah.
Well, that's lifelong Vikings fans.
Yeah,
So
right.
we hear you.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So what is it? So Texas to Minnesota, you get tons of questions, right? You come here in 2022, you get the 2022 winter, then you get the 23-24 winter, and you're going like, wow, what's going on here? So I guess I'm going to ask you a question that every other Minnesotan probably asks you. What's the transition, the adjustment been like? What did you think it was going to be? And having a few winters under your belt, is it what you thought, better or worse?
Well, I can tell you that I was prepared. And the reason I say that, my wife's from Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. So we come up, Wisconsin deer season's only a week long. I come up every year for the last 6 years in November to deer hunt. So I had a feeling that it was going. I mean, I knew it was going to be cold. People don't realize in Texas it gets below 30 occasionally as well. Oof. So it's not like it's not negative like it was all last winter. But it doesn't. It's not like it's 80 degrees in January.
Yeah, sure.
It can be, but most of the time it's not. So I was prepared. I came in extremely hard-headed. I made a joke to my father-in-law that he would never hear me complain about the cold or the snow or anything. And God tested me, I can tell you that much. Golly, 60 feet of snow in my first winter. Are you kidding me? Golly. I just didn't – I was not prepared for that. First thing I did was buy a snowblower. Yeah. And a bunch of my Minnesotan friends that I've met over the year was like, well, how'd you like shoveling your first winter with all that snow? I was like, I didn't. I bought a snowblower. And they were like, oh, you didn't do it the right way. Giving me crap. I'm like, well, God made the technology. I'm going to use it. Right. You know what I mean? I don't need to break my back. I'm 30 years old. Yeah.
I like when they say, I'm going to put my snowblower in the back of my truck and I'm going to drive south until someone says, what the hell is that? Yeah. And that's where I'm going to live. That's That's how a lot of us were feeling at the end of last winter as well. So.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, I had no clue. Knew nothing about it. I mean, my father-in-law's they live out in Chippewa Falls. They got some land, so he's got a tractor with a plow on it. I've seen the plows before. I knew how that worked. And then I drove down the road one day and saw a big John Deere tractor with snow shooting out the top of this chimney-looking chute, and I was like, what the heck is that? And my wife just laughed at me. Yeah. She just laughed at me. So.
That's awesome. It's like talking to an alien.
Yeah. I mean, you learn quick, though. I'll tell you what, I did spend about 3.5 hours shoveling my 100-foot driveway because it was so thick and so wet.
Yeah.
I went straight to Home Depot.
Yeah.
Drove straight to Home Depot, spent $200 on a snowblower, and here we are. It's probably too big for my driveway, but I don't care.
Yeah.
So.
That's awesome.
Like you said, technology's there, use it.
That's right. Yeah. That's how I feel about it. I'm not I take pride in, doing things the right way, but I like to work smarter, not harder.
Yeah. You get out hunting up here at all in the last year and a half or so?
It's kind of funny. I ended up shooting my first Wisconsin buck this year. So, but not in Minnesota. I actually didn't even buy a Minnesota hunting license for somebody who's I would like to think some of my identity is around being a hunter. I did not even purchase a Minnesota hunting license. I purchased one in Wisconsin, and then I actually headed south and duck and goose hunted down there a couple of times.
Sure.
Yeah, I hunted some sandhill cranes and down in Texas, and with my family and my friends, and an outfit down there that I've been working with for a long time. So.
Very fun.
Yeah, no, I would like to. I mean, I live 5 miles from apparently the best waterfowl lake in the entire state. Some people have told me, which is Pelican Lake. So
yeah,
I'd like to get out, but I just,
So much for secret lakes.
Yeah, right. Geez. Well, heck, I mean, if you've driven by that lake, there is, I feel like, 10 lakes in one right there. I mean, it's huge. It's huge. I wouldn't even know where to start.
The landing is pretty good place to start.
Right.
Oh, we could dive down a rabbit hole on that one because it was the best of both worlds as well when the water was much higher.
Okay.
Because it was phenomenal bass fishing, phenomenal crappie fishing.
Really?
And then the DNR, and I can't stand the DNR. Just the politics behind everything on it. And they're like, no, we need to lower this because it's a waterfall area. And then you can't get around anywhere on a boat. And so, yeah, I mean, it was giant pike, giant bass, giant crappie. It was awesome and tons of waterfowl.
Right.
And now it's waterfowl.
They shallowed it down so they could have some more vegetation to eat, I guess, for the puddle ducks versus shooting all the divers.
Yep.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. I mean, it's just there's got to be areas of the lake that you keep deep. I mean, I know that's obviously logistics and it makes it difficult, but I mean, a lake that size and that fun for recreation, you can only use it for a couple months out of the year now. What's the point?
Yeah.
You know?
Another thing, they kept all the county roads around it, like you can't park, so you're parking half a mile away. And then
I've noticed.
Yeah, you're like in your waders, you're like, I hate this.
Whose idea was this?
That's another reason why I didn't get out last year, because I was just like, so the parking lot's here, the boat landing's there, the water's 350 yards that way.
Yeah.
What do I do?
100%. Yeah. So. Well, I mean, we're kind of coming up to our time limit here, but I think it's been fantastic to get to know you a little bit more and really cool. I think we should have you on again at some point in the future. And
absolutely.
Wish you the best in the endeavors of being a girl dad. And
thanks.
Very, very fun. Is there anything you want to leave with our 250,000 listeners?
250,000 listeners.
Don't do the math. Just trust us.
All right, I trust you. Don't shoo me out of here too quick. Get to know me before you shoo me back south. So that's what I got for you.
That's awesome.
That sounds good.
Well, thank you for coming in. For the Buffalo Community Podcast, I'm Tyler Reese.
I'm Mark Benzer.
And I'm Matt. Did it right.
Thanks for listening to the Buffalo Community Podcast, produced by Edlin Media. You can find us on Facebook and YouTube, as well as anywhere you listen to podcasts.